Hey beautiful people, I'm Jaha Zainabu and this is Storytime with Jaha Zainabu 38. Wow, so 38/365. Today I'm going to read from one of my ebooks that I haven't read from yet. And this ebook is called Musings and Experiences of a Black Woman in America. So yeah, I haven't read from this one yet, so I'm going to share some of the stories from this one, and these are my musings, my experiences. We Black Boy. I couldn't watch the complete video of the Rancho Cordova police officer beating the black teen. I finished the article though, about how the video doesn't show the full context, about how the 14-year-old boy lied and said he was 18, how he had a Swisher Sweet and was probably going to hollow it out and use some of the paper for weed. Like that matters. This boy is already criminalized. That boy, her boy, his, mine, because we all deserve it. Right? The animals that we are. Black boy should have been at home. Black boy should not have resisted. Black boy should have turned the other cheek. Whole thing looks worse than it really is. Black boys always suspicious, right? I am black boy. You're black boy too, and you, her, them, we all black boys, criminals, out here refusing to obey, out here standing on our feet, out here unwilling to go down easily. Black boy, sometimes I am afraid to step outside of my own door, scared to let go of my grown-up son. Black boy, what kind of wisdom do I have to impart? Run, don't run, fight, play dead, freeze, maybe knives, maybe bullets, maybe fists, maybe words, maybe swords. Maybe we burn this whole thing down, black boy. What this time? What now? Ain't praying enough. Pants hanging too low, music too loud, colors too red, too blue. What do we do with all this ready? All this anger, this rage boiling over, messing up our good shoes. What prayer ain't been prayed before? What song is there left now to sing? Overcome what? Overcome when? Black boy I loved was driving home late one night with a gun inside his vest. Cop told him to reach and put his gun on top of the hood. Black boy said no, said you just waiting to shoot. Black boy, making it home is one big gamble. Black boy, cries for help ain't never heard. Cries for breath, for freedom, justice, safety, life. Black boy, place. Black boy, on your mark. Black boy, ready. Black boy, set. Black boy, hands up. Black boy, fists up. Black boy, go. This one is called Scary. When my son was 2 years old, I was in a play. The night of the dress rehearsal, the cast was backstage talking. I was the only black member of the cast. The rest were white. One of the women started talking about how adorable her nephew was when he was a little boy. But when he became a teenager, he started looking and acting all scary, she said. Boys do that, you know. Another cast member joined the conversation and said that her teenager wasn't scary at all. The first woman replied that it doesn't happen to all boys, and then turned to me and said, you're definitely going to experience this. She had never met my son. To my knowledge, she wasn't psychic. I wasn't even in the conversation. My son is not scary looking or acting. In fact, he is very well mannered and quite handsome. But these are the kinds of people he has to deal with out in the world. These are the women he has to serve on his job. These are the women working at his bank, at stores and restaurants he frequents. These are the women who drive the buses, the Ubers, the Lyfts. These women are police officers, are property managers, sit in jury boxes. Tell me how irrational it is for Black parents to pray that extra prayer when our children leave home, as if they even have to leave home. Tired. We are angry. Our bodies filled with rage. Our spirits know there is freedom somewhere. There is a place we can be our beautiful selves. Our bodies have never been there before. We don't know this place, neither do our parents. We only know life on high alert. We have lived this way far too long. Take a very deep breath. This is what air feels like just before the smoke. This next one is a journal entry from June 4th, 2020. Hashtag George Floyd and all the rest. I am frustrated and angry that there is nowhere we can be together and scream and yell. We are pouring out our infuriated guts on social media because that's what we have. We have to get naked here, but this is not a safe space for us to be naked. But here we are, with white folks watching our every word. White people, please imagine that. Imagine how that must be for us right now. Imagine the extra energy it takes for us to take you, friends of ours, because you, too, are appalled at the state of this great nation. We love you, but we don't have it for you right now. What you see every now and then on the news is what we live in fear every day. This is not an occasional for us. This is the normal that we know. We don't have code switched white people voice for you today. We only have this base. We only have this anger and these tears. We are tired. We know that some of you love us and want to express your anger too, but respect the silence of your Black friends right now. We do not have a shoulder for you to cry on. Imagine a Black man raped your daughter and then cut off her head and then set the rest of her body on fire. Imagine all this happened on film. Imagine he then went free. Imagine this isn't the first time this happened. Imagine just a month ago, a Black man went into your church and killed your pastor and other members. Imagine he got arrested, but on the way to the jail, the police pull into a Burger King to feed him because jail food sucks. Now imagine your name is Tiffany Daniels, and every time you turn in a job or loan application, yours gets put to the bottom of the pile by the Black secretary. Now imagine that every time you go to see your Black doctor, he doesn't believe what you are complaining about. Now imagine that you have lost your job where you were a great speaker, but earn half as much as the black man who gets booked with you. And now there is a pandemic. And there is rent forgiveness, but for some reason, not for you. Now, imagine a black man just killed your mother and your dog, shot her in the head in the middle of the street. And you know in your gut that he is going to get off because black men always get off. Imagine. And now all of your family has gathered and I show up with my greens and cornbread and flowing black tears wetting up the room, talking about this wicked world we live. My friend, it's kind of like that. And I love being a black American woman. I'll say that later. So this is titled, And I Love Being a Black American Woman. And then there are easy days when observing the world through these eyes, these black eyes, these woman eyes, these American eyes. The energy is electric today here in Leimert Park, here in Los Angeles, here in California, here under the sun. The blue sky is Kiss. The street noise is Cotton. The food is God. And I love my people. I do. Ain't no language. Ain't nobody's language. Ain't nobody's loving. Ain't nobody do what we do. A brother walked up to me, offered to sell me a handicap placard. I declined with a smile. Baby girl asked the old man for a quarter. He reached in his pocket and gave her $1. A sister pulled up on a brother and yelled out her window, "That's why I ain't been studying you none." To which he responded with a finger point, "But I bet your coachy thinking no." And the whole block laughed. True story. True story. This is another journal entry. This one is from August 27, 2020. I keep trying to paint and write and laugh and live like another black man, this time man, but not always man, did not just get shot. Like me ignoring the video is going to mean that I am not going to be traumatized by it. A bullet is always the monkey that stops the show. That poem or story that was going to be about sex or lilies has now turned a corner. That call to the homie that was going to have us both busting up has us both enraged. No human body is meant to hold this, especially not for this long. It's not just the shooting. It's all the ways we are blamed for getting shot, stomped on, killed. How many higher selves can we be? I am tired of dropping my son off at work and watching him walk into the building like I look back at my car when I park in a sketchy neighborhood. America is sketchy, and you and I and our children are shiny new cars with keys inside asking for it, because ain't we always asking for it? Ain't we always begging to be brutalized? Shouldn't we know better by now? What we be thinking anyway, walking down the street, playing in a park, sitting on a couch, sleeping in a bed. My therapist says that I don't process trauma like most people do. She says I experience a traumatic event and it keeps recycling in my brain. It never really gets worked out. That's why I can be driving or walking or whatever and remember something and my body experiences it like it's happening now. But what if it is happening now? What if it keeps happening now? How is Trayvon not Emmett? How is Emmett not George? How is Sandra not Oscar? The trauma actually is recycling. And there has never been any other way in this country, ever. This anger, man, this anger is eating me up. This is called Pulled Over in Oklahoma. In 2005, I drove my Chevy Impala from Los Angeles, California to McDonough, Georgia. I was alone. The trip took about 4 days and for the most part went fairly smoothly. On the last part of my journey, I was going through Oklahoma. It was about noon and the highway was mostly clear. After some time, a white cop pulled behind me pretty closely. I guess he was running my plates. A few minutes later, he lagged far behind. So when I changed lanes, though, he sped up to catch me, then flashed the lights for me to pull over. I didn't know what I had done, but I pulled over. I sat a few moments and waited for him to get out of his car and approach my window to ask for my paperwork that I had ready. But he didn't get out. Instead, he got on his loudspeaker and instructed me to slowly exit my vehicle and walk back to his car with my papers. I had never heard of this before and was very skeptical and scared. Get out. Walk back to him. I didn't have a cell phone and was keenly aware of how alone and unprotected I was. But I obeyed. I held my hands up and walked as slowly as I could to his car. And on the way, I tried to make eye contact with anyone passing by on the highway. There were very few cars and none of them seemed to look my way. Here is what was especially scary about this long walk to the cop's car. He held his gun pointed at me. I was very afraid, like, what in the Deep South is happening here? That was not my first time being pulled over, but I had never experienced what was happening. There was a canine in the back seat. There was a gate between the back and front seats, so the dog could not move from where it was, but I am very afraid of dogs. So I was even more afraid. The officer reached over and opened the passenger side door and motioned me to go on that side. I assumed because his side was close to the highway, but really not that close. And that's just the way they did it in Oklahoma. Well, I stood next to the open door with my papers in my hand to present to him. Get in, he said. Get in the car. Get in the car? I asked. I knew this was not normal. I knew this was not okay. I knew I was not safe. But I got in. Barely. I had half a butt cheek on the seat and the rest of my body outside. Get in and close the door, he said. My heart could probably have been seen beating outside of my chest. Slowly, I did what he asked me to do. I've never done this before, I told him as I gave him my papers. I slowly shut the door. He could see from my driver's license and car plates that I was from California. He asked me where I was going, and I told him Atlanta. He wanted to know why I was going to Atlanta to visit friends, I said. He wanted to know what that was sticking above my back seat. Canvases. I'm an artist. He asked a bunch of questions about my art. More questions about my friends in Atlanta. Questions, and more questions. I answered all of them. Then he stopped talking. I never looked at him. The whole time I kept staring straight ahead. When he stopped talking, I kept my head forward but looked at him sideways. I think that was the scariest time of my life. So many things ran through my head. He's going to tell me to perform oral sex, I thought. He's going to sick the dog on me, I thought. He's going to shoot me, I thought. All kinds of things. He was quiet for maybe 30 seconds, but in reality, those seconds felt like hours. Finally, he said that he pulled me over because when I changed lanes, I didn't signal, and that he was going to give me a warning and let me go. I was a little relieved, but I didn't fully exhale until I was back in my car driving away. Many years later, I posted this encounter on Facebook, and I was spooked by the comments. One white woman said that she often got pulled over in Oklahoma and wanted me to know that in no way was that normal pullover procedure. Other white women said the same thing. Then my cousin asked me if the officer's name was such and such. I don't remember the name. I told her that I didn't know. She sent me an article of a white officer in Oklahoma who had been caught pulling over black women and had forced some of them to perform oral sex on him. What? I don't know if that was the same guy or not. I do remember thinking that he was going to tell me to do that, though. I am so thankful that I got out of that situation safely. So thankful. I drove across the country alone a few times before that trip. That was my last time, though. I would probably drive again, maybe with someone, but never again by myself. I am so thankful. When I look back on that, I don't have to tell you. Oof. Okay. Just oof. I'm not sure if I'm going to read all of these, but I'm going to read some. Not because you're black. I was about 20 years old, and I lived in Buena Park, California at the time. I was in a car with my then boyfriend in Huntington Beach, California. We were sitting in the back seat of his car that was parked near the beach. And yes, we were just chilling. A white cop knocked on the window and asked to see our identifications. We showed him. No problem. He asked us a bunch of questions: where we had been earlier, how long had we been parked there, what we did for a living, and other questions that had nothing to do with anything other than wanting to question two young black people who were parked in a white neighborhood where my boyfriend actually lived. Go figure. When he ran out of questions, he said, well, I was just questioning you because there was a stabbing a few blocks over and you fit the description. He didn't say which one of us fit the made-up description. Boyfriend, me, both of us. A stabbing, though? Really? Why didn't he ask to search the car for a knife then? He gave us a final once-over and then told on himself with, and it's not because you're black either. Really? Okay. Sure, officer. Sure. We are Topeka, Kansas. This morning, I woke up and heard on the news that so-and-so was kicked off Dancing with the Stars. Some magazine named Rihanna the most beautiful woman in the world. Kim Kardashian had on the same dress as Lady Gaga. And oh yeah, domestic violence is no longer illegal in Topeka, Kansas. That was the order the stories were reported. They can't afford it. And so far, 30 suspects have been released. Rita Smith, executive director of the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence, said in the Kansas City Star's report, "I absolutely do not understand it. It's really outrageous that they're playing with family safety to see who blinks first. People could die while they're waiting to straighten this out." End quote. This is America. This is how I see it. The safety of women and children is never prioritized. This is what we are teaching our boys, who will grow into men who will make laws protecting more men. Yeah, so at the heart of the matter. On Wednesday, I woke up with a tightness in my chest. It felt like a fist behind my heart squeezing. The pressure lifted after a few deep breaths and prayers. And I was afraid because just last year my father died of a heart attack. The next morning, the pain moved from my chest to my back. It settled directly between my shoulders. I told myself that if I was still hurting the next morning, then I would go out to the hospital. I don't have health insurance, and this is how we do. We wait out the pain. We put off getting help because time, because money, because work. At 3 o'clock Friday morning, the pain was in my chest again. My left arm was tingling down to my fingers. Dear God, this is how we do. The uninsured. We wait, hope, hurt, pray. About 7:30 that morning, the pain dissolved, but I went to the emergency room. My blood pressure was dangerously low, so the doctor wanted to keep me through the night, to monitor me and do more tests the next morning. The next day, after the stress tests, the blood tests, the x-rays, it wasn't my heart. I am uninsured, so they were not looking for what the problem was, just that it wasn't my heart. They didn't want to send me home to have a heart attack the next day and then have my family sue the hospital the day after that. Maybe the pain was just a sign to let it go. The worry over money, family, time, career, friends, the worry over worry. I am back to walking more, taking regular and deep breaths, recognizing the smallness of what I worry about anyway. Perhaps I didn't need a sign so big to learn a lesson so small, but then again, maybe so. Bed making. When I was a young girl, my mother made me a bed. Best bed I ever had. Every night, the trip to Builder's Emporium on Del Amo in Carson, near Aunt Mildred's house. Not there anymore, though. Not the store. Not the bed. Not Aunt Mildred either. The memory won't leave. Pride, wood, nails, stain. To a brave woman I know. We pretend to understand, but we were not there. You were. With your young children, with your mother, your father, your sister, your niece. You were there. You saw the waters rise, heard the snap and crash when the levees broke. You were there. Waited for rescue, no one came. You waited on rooftops, holding babies, stepping over grandmothers, cooks and gardeners gone home to be with the good Lord. Water rising higher and higher. Your own baby gone home to be with God, floated on to glory. Your family was relocated, scattered across this country of ours that let the levees break. We saw cracks. We heard rumors. The levees still broke. Your baby is with the angels. You saw the waters rise, held onto faith, to love, to God, left home without your sister, without your niece, without your baby, without your hope, held on to forgiveness, sanity, yourself. Your sister is not in Canada, not in Utah, not in the Carolinas, not Georgia. They found her body, your sister's body, under the cracks of the levees. Your sister is with Jesus. We hold you, dear heart. We'll keep you in prayer, in love, in light. We'll hold on with you to tomorrow, to dreams, to you. The stories more and more. It keeps happening. In every woman's circle I'm in, church, school, social, there is always a woman living out her life in fear. Slowly the secrets unfold. During a break, during prayer, during wine. As a writer and black woman, I feel torn. I love my brothers, but there are all of these stories. All these women like me, women, mothers, sisters, wives, daughters, lovers, with all these stories, all these scars, and I am led to write, to tell the stories. Too many women are dying by the hands of men. Men who promised love, promised safety, promised hands that would hold. In class tonight, woman after woman shared stories about abuse. Some stories I could relate to, others I couldn't even imagine. Vicious attacks, not from strangers on the street. These were boyfriends, lovers, husbands. I am guilty. Guilty of hearing a woman being beaten, and I did nothing but turn my lights out, cried and prayed. I was watching the afternoon news when I heard the kicks. Stupid bitch this, silly motherfucker that. I am sorry that I did nothing. I promised myself I would never do nothing again. And the stories are everywhere. Every time I turn around, they are there, reaching, grabbing, haunting. And I remember that day. I was living in the jungle in Los Angeles. The jungle is an area of Los Angeles. And I was living in the jungle. And the woman in the next building, I could hear him kicking her. And I'm home with my son, who is, at that time, Urias was in kindergarten. So about 5 years old. And I could hear this woman being kicked. I could hear her crying. I am not proud of this moment. I am not proud of myself. I am not proud I did nothing. I am not proud. I am not proud that I was afraid. Afraid of the police showing up at my house, afraid of being his next victim, all the things that I would be afraid of. I am not proud that I was afraid of those things. I am not proud that I let my fear be bigger than that woman's immediate circumstance. I sat in my living room, turned the television down, and listened. And there were two boys, men, I don't know, and they were outside walking on the sidewalk, and they could hear this happening too. And I could hear them laughing, and it just, like, them laughing was just a knife in my heart that just was being turned. Like, who are we that this is funny? Who are we? So, Musings and Experiences of a Black Woman in America is a collection of my musings and my experiences being a Black woman in America. And all of the experiences are not bad experiences. I just am not reading the complete book to you. Some are good experiences. This is not the only country that I have been in, but it is the only country where I have lived. And so I call it home. And I have met amazing people here. I have incredible people in my life. And there are awful things here. And this one is called The Ride. And then there are days like this, when a long drive down backwoods Georgia roads bring trees and curves, deer and the sun setting just right, make me feel like this could be home. This land my grandparents built, thunder roars on cue, lightning strikes out of the blue, and rain dance on my windshield, bounce off my tires, rhythm of my wiper blades beat like metronome, tune from the radio, story falls out of a singer's southern drawl about a man missing a woman, about a dog, about a boy and a guitar. My body sinks into the seat, my mind roams from tomorrow to yesterday, from dirt to sky, grass so green, clouds so love I could cry. Suspicious. I was about 25 years old when I was driving one day. I think I was in Los Angeles or maybe Long Beach, definitely California, and I pulled up to a stoplight. A car pulled up next to me, and out of habit, I turned to my left to see who was next to me, and I noticed that it was a cop. I noticed him, then looked straight ahead at the light. When the signal turned green, I drove off. The cop pulled behind me and flashed his lights for me to pull over. I did. I didn't know what the problem could possibly be. I wasn't speeding. My tags were on my plates. What did he want? When he approached my door, he asked for my license, registration, and insurance. I gave him everything. When he handed them back to me, I asked why he pulled me over. He told me that back at the light, when he pulled up next to me, when I looked over at him, I gave him eye contact, and that made me suspicious. Eye contact. A black woman looking a white man in the face, that was suspicious. Bubba. My Uncle Bubba was a very smart man. One of the smartest I've ever known. He was my mother's oldest brother. He was a street guy. I don't think he graduated from school, any school, For my whole life, he has been in and out of jail. Still, I never met a man more educated. Bubba was a black Muslim, the only one in my family. When he was in jail, he used to write letters to me, often. I was very young. I think the letters began when I was in fourth or fourth grade. He would tell me what books to read, ask about my day, and teach me life lessons. When he was not in jail, he mostly lived with my grandparents, so I would see him often after school. The life lessons he repeated often, the one life lesson he repeated often was, the truth is always something you have to search for. He said that all the time. The truth is always something you have to search for. And I was always fascinated with his jail stories. I read George Jackson's Blood in My Eye because of Bubba. I read the autobiography of Malcolm X and Roots because of him. Bubba's lessons were the beginning of my social justice lessons. I've always had a hate-love relationship with America. It's where I have always lived, but it was never a place I called home. Never a place I could settle into. I was in early elementary school when Roots came on television. My grandmother used to babysit my sister and me until my mother or father picked us up. We walked into my grandparents' house after school. Every day when Roots was on, I sat on the couch in the living room and I watched. And I was sick with what I saw, but I could not stop watching. Roots was not my first time learning about slavery, but something about seeing it with my child eyes on television. Seeing black people who looked like my father, my family, my mother, and me in chains, beaten, worked to the bone, sold off and separated from their family. It stirred something in me that I never forgot. It never left. This land would never be my home. That's not to say that I have not had plenty of good experiences here. I have. I just experienced them all knowing that there was another shoe surely to drop. I've also had plenty of really scary experiences here. So this collection is in no particular order. Those experiences, those memories. I'm still adding stories. Like, I have a lot more, but what I'm going to have to do with this collection is really just pull back, because the book is already too long. It's longer than the others because there are so many experiences, and all of my experiences are not negative experiences with the cops or with white folks, or it's my experiences with other people, with men, with black men who are unfortunately our biggest killers right now. Like, I love my brothers. I know not all men don't. I know, I get it. But I remember, but I have so many of those experiences where I have been assaulted. And all of the times that I have had to protect myself in the workplace from white folks, and then at home from black men. I have had those experiences, and I can't not include those experiences in this collection, so I did. And yes, I know, I say again, I know not all black men. I have had many great experiences with black men. I remember I dated this guy who was a good guy. But one thing he did that we actually had to have like a like a sit down about, he would offer, and this was mostly in the beginning of our relationship, he would offer things like to carry something or something like that. And if I refuse, every time I refused, he would say, okay, strong black woman. And strong black woman from his mouth was never a compliment. It always landed like an accusation. It always landed like something bad he threw at me. Strong black woman, you know. And I don't, and men say that. Black men say that. And I don't know that they get that as a black woman, our default immediately is, no, thank you. Do you know how many times, my brother has offered to carry groceries up to my apartment? And I have had to quickly analyze them. What's going to happen once you get to my apartment? Are you coming back to my apartment? Are you, you know what I mean? Are you coming back? Are you, what's going to happen at my front door? What's going to happen? You read the news like I read the news. I can't tell you how many times I've been, you black bitch, at the bar because I didn't want to give my number. And how many times I gave my number because I didn't want the smoke for not giving my number. We are often not safe. We, as a black woman, as black women, we often maneuver. We often walk the streets with our keys between our fingers, on guard. We often walk late at night in the middle of the street because we don't know. So this is, I don't want to read any more of these. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I'm going to read some, okay, so back in 2018, I wrote a collection called Playground Politics. And Playground Politics was, bless my heart. Playground Politics was a collection of, I wrote it in 2018. So it's me as an adult, but speaking as a child. Speaking as a child. Okay, Playground Politics. Oh, you know what? I said, wow. These are like, some of these are from 2014. I didn't realize I started them that early. Anyway, Playground Politics. If you are big and your sister is little, then you have to do her hair because your mother has to go to work because that is important. If your sister wants her hair in 2 French braids down the side, but you already made the parts for 4 ponytails, then she has to wear it in 4 because you are the one that's doing it. Because that was the politics of being a kid. Playground Politics, Sunday School. Reverend Ford should not let Miss Williams teach Sunday school anymore because she treats the big kids like they are little, but they are not. Reverend Ford should tell her that she can only sing in the choir with the old people and not even get to lead a song. Just stand in the back row and sing, and that's it. Playground Politics. It's vicious. Okay? It's vicious. Playground Politics. Be quiet. If your mother says be quiet and you don't, then she will say it again louder. If she says it again, then it will hurt bad and you won't be able to be quiet after that. Playground Politics was real, okay? Listen. Listen. You know, I think that, like in this moment, I don't know, just for fun and shits, for giggles and shit, I think I'm going to create a, wow, from 2009. I have Playground Politics from 2009. I didn't know that. I think I'm going to like make a collection of the Playground Politics. Okay, Playground Politics. When Grandmommy combs my hair. When Grandmommy combs my hair sometimes, she puts it in too many ponytails, like I am little. I like my hair in 2 or 3, but not 7 or 8 or 9. Sometimes when she puts it in too many ponytails, she gives me a bang in the front, like I'm big. But a bang does not look cute with 9 ponytails sticking out. But grandmothers have jury curls, so they don't know that. Bless my heart. Playground Politics is a lot like what my first journals were. My first journals, for those of you who are new, early elementary, I started a journal called My Famous Stories. And this is a lot like what My Famous Stories were. Okay, Playground Politics, dressing alike. If you have a little sister and your mom dress you in the same clothes like you are twins or something and does your hair the same too, then that is not good. Because you will not look cute when your aunties take a picture of you and your sister, because you will be frowned and mad. And that is some real shit, because my sister and I are 4 years apart. And like, I'm way taller than my sister. But for some reason, my mom used to dress us alike, and I hated every moment of it. And so many of my pictures from when I was a kid, I'm dressed like my sister. And I think there is one photo of me when I was a child and I'm smiling. That's it. I'm always frowned up in pictures because my sister is dressed look just like me, and I'm big. Like, and when you are a child, being a big kid is everything. Dogs. Playground Politics. My dog Fritz died on Saturday, and then I prayed for him when I went to Sunday school the next day. I was very sad, and I even cried. I did not want the other kids to think I was a baby, so I told them that I was crying because Jesus died for everybody's sins, and my stomach hurt too. I asked Jesus to forgive me for telling a story. He did. That was some real shit, and I remember that day. Let's see. Playground Politics, going to church. If you tell your mother that your stomach hurts on Sunday night, on Saturday night. If you tell your mother that your stomach hurts on Saturday night, then you still have to go to church on Sunday morning, and you still cannot go to sleep in church, even if the old people's choir is not good and the preacher is taking too long. Real talk. Real talk. Real talk. Where's the lie? Where's the lie? Fuck with me. Where's the lie? Beer. Playground Politics. If you drink beer, then you will throw up a lot and you will have to get a divorce. Then you cannot live with your wife and daughters until you say that you are very, very sorry. That's why my parents got divorced, because my dad drank beer. And kids just process things like so matter of factly. Like, look, if you drink beer, I'm gonna read that again because that shit goes. Okay, if you drink beer, then you will throw up a lot, facts, and you will have to get a divorce, facts. Then you cannot live with your wife and daughters, facts, until you say that you are very, very sorry, facts. Fight me. Okay, playground politics, picking flowers. Like, I'm reading these fresh. Like, I don't even remember most of these. That's why I'm kind of cracking up. So I don't remember most of these, but I don't know what I was on, but I was on one when I was creating playground politics. And I for sure am going to write this collection. For sure. It's done. It's done, son. It's done. It's a done deal. Okay, picking flowers. The lady in the yellow house have a sign that says not to pick her flowers. But Tara said that they are not even her flowers because all flowers belong to God. So how can she say don't pick them? Facts. Don't fuck with me, okay? Playground politics. Ushering. I don't know where I'm about to go, but roll with me. If you are if you are an usher at your church and you are the tallest and your hair is longer than the other ushers, then you should get to stand in the middle aisle and usher if you want to. But sometimes Brother Harris does not think so, and that is not good. All that's real. And Brother Harris actually, rest in peace, Brother Harris. But Brother Harris actually was the leader of the ushers. And he did not understand playground politics, let's just say that. Because sometimes I, the tallest, was on the far left aisle. And no way. No way, son. I should have been in the middle, son. Okay? Playground politics. Free lunch. What am I about to say now? This was in 2009. Okay, but I'm writing as a child, so I'm not, stall me out. When I am a grown-up, I am going to tell my daughter that when it is summer, she does not have to walk all the way to the park with her little sister to get that nasty bologna sandwich and apple and cracker at the park. She can stay at home and practice her cursive and write a famous story and color and watch cartoons if she wants to. In the summer, every summer, there was free lunch at the park. And every summer, my grandmother was like, what y'all about to do at 12 o'clock is walk your black asses to the park to get the free lunch. And every day, I was like, I'm not hungry. I'm good. And every day, I still had to do it. Every day, I still had to do it. Yeah. I'm having fun with playground politics. Fuck y'all. Okay, playground politics. Friends. I don't know what's about to happen here, but roll with me. Sometimes people say that they are your friends, but really they are not your friends, because when you have a party you invite them to your party, but they do not invite you to theirs, and they talk about you. When I have another party, Carmen R cannot come. Facts. Facts. Fuck Carmen R. Fuck Carmen R. Fuck her. Okay. Playground politics. Just a few more. I'm having too much fun. Cafeteria. Playground politics. The cafeteria is fun to eat at sometimes. Sometimes they have good food. Sometimes they do not. The hamburgers are the best, but not the sloppy joes. They are too messy. I eat lunch fast so I can check out the big red bouncy ball to play Foursquare. Sometimes I play tetherball if the line is not too long, or if Pam is not there because she stepped on the line and cheat. Facts. Facts. You didn't want it with me when I was a kid. I was actual and factual. Okay? You didn't want it. Okay. My Uncle Bubba, playground politics. My Uncle Bubba is really great. Sometimes he is my favorite uncle. Sometimes John is. Sometimes Thurman. Sometimes Don. Herman and Jimmy do not care. if they are my favorite or not. I don't care. They are happy all the time anyway. It's hard to pick. Bubba's real name is Robert. A lot of times he is in jail, but he is not bad. Sometimes he takes drugs, but that's all. Stall him out. He does not beat people up or say a lot of bad words or steal things. The police still don't like it when you use drugs, though. He does it anyway, so he goes to jail and writes letters to me. He tells me what books to read, and he says that the truth is something you have to search for. He says that I will understand that later on when I'm big. Bubba is a Muslim. Some grown-ups say that Muslims don't believe in Jesus, but they do too. Bubba is still going to heaven even though he is a Muslim and sometimes goes to jail. Just because you take drugs sometimes and go to jail do not mean that you can't live forever with God and the rest of us. When I talk to Bubba, he talked to me like I'm bigger and not a little kid. I guess that's how Muslims are supposed to talk to kids. They must have to read a lot too, because he does, and he always wants me to read books about people who are black. Some of them are dead that he read about, and some of them are not. It is very important to know where you come from. Otherwise, where will you go to in the future? Black people have to take their future in their own hands because we can't depend on the white man for everything. Bubba already searched for that truth. Facts. Facts. Fuck with me. Okay? I'm not going to read any more of Playground Politics, but I have them. Like, I'm serious. I didn't even realize. They're all like buried in my blog. And I just went to my blog and put in the search bar Playground Politics. And a bunch of Playground Politics came up. But they're pretty dope, right? I've been writing like shit for a very, 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 very long time. So look forward to Playground Politics being a book, because it's about to. But I hope y'all are writing. I really, 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 really do. I hope that you are releasing, I don't know, whatever truths, Write as a child. That's what I did with Playground Politics. It was just a writing exercise. So write, as if you were a child. There's so much freedom. There's so much, you're not worried about spelling. You're not worried about punctuation. You are just fucking letting it go, okay? This is Storytime 38. I'll see you tomorrow for Storytime 39. And we are chugging right the fuck along here. Have a great one. Peace.